Hello everyone and welcome back once again to A Legionary's Life. We're back in the Macedonian campaign, so let's continue with a lot of text, of course. From a hilltop you can see a large tract of land. The most direct route to your camp goes through the plain in front of you, but the presence of an enemy cavalry squadron dissuades you from going down this road. And we've seen that cavalry squadron probably in the previous episode. I think it's the same one, so that's gonna be a challenge. There are two alternatives: a wooded ragged ground to your left, a marshland to your right. Both offer good cover, or so it appears. So going through the woods might get me into an ambush. Going into the marshlands is gonna be a tough walk, but the cavalry can go through neither, because with the marshlands the cavalry will probably get stuck in the muddy type terrain, and then with the woods there's too much trees, so the cavalry can't go through that easily either. But the thing is that in the woods you can get ambushed, whereas you wouldn't be able to get ambushed in the marshlands, or not that easy, I think. So let's go through the marshlands. For an eternity you trudge through the soggy ground. Endurance and crud. I forgot what it is. Check. But you have no difficulty in keeping up with the rest. When you finally get out of the marshland, the solid ground under your feet feels more comfortable than you ever remembered. From here it takes little time to come inside of your camp. Okay, so I guess that was a good choice. You find confusion when you arrive at the camp. Small parties of survivors like yours are coming with alarming news of what is happening outside. The council sends out his cavalry to rescue the beleaguered foragers and leads the heavy infantry in support. You have led back many men. Your excellent work is greatly appreciated. Your opinion, troop, etc., has increased by 4. Experience sharpens your mind. After your ordeal, you are left behind to garrison the base. The army comes back at the end of the day. The Macedonians have been repulsed and forced back to their camp. There's even a soldier who boasts of having killed Philip's horse, almost getting the king himself. You find that hard to believe. An armistice is declared to bury the dead on both sides. The night is silent and peaceful, but when the morning comes, you are baffled to find out that Philip and his army have left. For the moment, Galba does not seem inclined to give chase. Fair enough. And we get a bronzer. Milla, we're in the next part. Wonder what happens if we go to the woods, but we'll figure that out some other time. For now, we get to do some of this stuff again. So let's start with some sparring. Not a foraging party, huh? Well, I dislike these as much as the next guy, but let's just keep going. It really seems like it's at a 2%, but okay. Enemies in Lydon Cuirass, each holding a light colored shield, emerge from the woods to attack you on the flanks. One of them closes on you and throws his javelin. You deflect his attack and prepare him to meet at close quarters. This is Therioporos. No clue. It's just a guy. I would have to read up on what kind of soldier that is. It's also a very weird hat. Alright, well, let's go with the shield knock. Well, let's see if I can. Nope. Never mind. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. And let's finish him off. Hopefully, at least. Now that he's down, we should keep him down. That's what I think. Unless we're close to beating him. Let's go for the leg. I almost forgot to sell all my stuff. They realize they've bitten off more than they could chew. With no choice left but to call off the attack, they retreat. Yeah. At least I get another kill. That's one of the positive things about ambush. I think if you would be looking to maximize your score for each of these events, you'd be trying to use all of the remaining time trying to get ambushes. So you get to do as many battles as possible and kill as many enemies as possible. This hamlet has seen better days. Take their provisions and you will doom the inhabitants for sure. Let's just spare the settlement. Your men show respect for your decision. That's great. There are enough cities here that I can finish this mission, I think. Especially with stuff like this. So I can pretty much always go for the virtue increases in those cases. It's not a big deal. That's all well and fine. Yeah, leveling up is going to be pretty tough now. You're admiring an exquisitely weaved cape. The shop owner claims it's made of a special wool that grows on trees in a distant land near the edge of the world, where Alexander won his last great battle. You don't know what to make of this far-fetched story, but it certainly looks and feels a lot better than common wool. Such a fine possession may improve your status a little, though it doesn't come cheap. The merchant is asking the equivalent of 200 denarii for it. Let's try to knock the price down. Fail charisma check. Okay, well, I have very high charisma. Sure, whatever. You agree to the exorbitant price. Fairy tales or not, this high quality cape is certainly very comfortable. It also makes your presence more remarkable. Sure. Alright. Yeah, that's fine. I also like to get the javelin skill a bit up if we can. Philip comes very close to catching your army unprepared near Pluina, and you're forced to retreat. Soon after, you attempt to march into the upper Macedonian region of Eordaia, yeah. A narrow pass is the only way in. The Macedonian king must have anticipated the council's move. Your scouts report that the pass has been fortified. It changes nothing. Galba resolves to force his way through. If nothing else, the ground is too difficult for the enemy to employ the phalanx. You're kept in reserve this time, and you observe the advance of some maniples from an elevated vantage point. Cretan archers are pestering them with arrows, but they know what to expect and march tightly under the protection of their large shields. When they get closer, the advance comes to a halt. It seems the defenders are throwing stones at them. The damage must be negligible, but the noise is certainly frightening many of the men. It takes a while for the officers to regroup the maniples and resume the advance. They finally reach the ramparts and begin to put some pressure on the Macedonians. At the same time, you see other units attack a not too far hilltop. A short and brutal clash ensues. The enemy is ousted, and your fellow legionaries have gained a convenient access to the rear of the Macedonian line. When they reach the back of the ramparts, the battle becomes a one-sided bloodbath. You have gained access to Eordaia, but the pass was defended by a relatively small number of troops. Where is the rest of Philip's army? Alright. Well, let's try to keep sparring. It's a bit strange to get things like that in between, because it seems like we continue to be at the camp, but even with much of the enemy army out of the way, there are strong rumors about troubles in the north of their country. Everybody knows you won't be pushing deep into Macedonia. Your supply lines are already as stretched as they can get. It doesn't matter. You have the region of Eordaia at your mercy, and it will be enough for the moment. Several towns fall with hardly any resistance. Heavy with plunder and leaving a trail of destruction behind you, you move back into the territory of the Dasarte. Here, the Council chooses the city of Pelion as a future base of operations against Macedonia. Its inhabitants don't share his view. You will capture Pelion by force. Today, you'll storm the city walls. Wherever you look, men are at work wielding ladders. Getting the right length can be a difficult task. Let's have our say. Your rank carries weight. They listen to you. The ladders are ready. Only the field test will tell if your evaluation was right or direly wrong. You advance towards the city. The assault begins. The defenders do what they can to thwart your action as the ladders are propped up against the walls. Intelligence and awareness check. You did an outstanding job. Their length is perfect. The assault will be easier. The first man over the wall will receive a mural crown, one of the most highly regarded awards in the army. As the senior centurion in the maniple, you should count on the help of your men. We're going to go for that mural crown. Charisma check. Your men are doing their best to help you. They could make the difference. You trip up. Missiles rain down on you from the ramparts above. Your health is decreased by 6. We're not going to get this mural crown. You've almost reached the top. A bunch of defenders are ready to repel you. Fighting from this position is going to be extremely difficult. Yeah, I don't see it happening this time, but who knows. Let's start with... we have to be quite risky here, so... Because if I want to get it, I probably have to do it in 30 turns or less. So I really need to hurry up here. Now head is almost guaranteed. Yeah, I can't really... I'm fine with neck now. So let's just try to kill off these guys as fast as possible. I don't really care that much for my health, but I have to try to do this one quickly. This is already getting pretty slow. Let's try neck. Alright, good. He missed, but my turn passed as well. That's really sucky. So I'll be trying to attack those that lose a bit of their stance. It doesn't show like that. Right? It just did that now. Not now. Game. I'll be trying to attack those that lose a bit of their stance because the attacks are a little bit easier then. But not this time. Let's recover. And... Alright, this time these guys are a bit easier, so... Even now, the neck is really poor choice for now. That's weird. Alright, I should be able to finish him off at the groin. Alright, that's at least another militiaman down. I will be having a bit more trouble with these guys, so... Oh yeah, I'm in defensive stance. That's why the chance was so low there. Alright, another expert militiaman. They're a bit down, but I still can't really go for the neck. The head is still the most preferred choice because it's 1.5 against 1.2 times damage. So that's always looking the best. Alright, they failed in just doing anything. Ah, come on. Please recover. Okay, good, good. Okay, they missed. So get back in there and hopefully this will finish it off. Come on, perfect. Okay, good, good. I need to finish them off crazy quickly because I failed that speed roll, which is also kind of crazy because I must have really high stats already. I have plus 70 speed, and still failing these checks is that's pretty rough actually. But let's do what we can. I don't know what the actual odds are then, or how that calculation is done for those checks, but it seems to be very tough to pass those at the very least. Alright, so another expert militiaman is dead. I've already killed quite a few. And I'm actually pretty lucky so far in the battle itself, so I am fairly happy about that. Just as I say that, of course, I missed this very high chance roll. Wow, really? Should have just kept my mouth shut here. Yeah. Of course, I've wasted 3 turns on that. Alright, come on. It's like supposedly 99% chance or something, so... Alright, let's finish you off. And hopefully this guy is the last one, because if he is, I still have a chance. He does have a helmet. Dome nasal helmet. Unlike the other one. So I'm gonna have to go for the groin. Oh, come on. I probably only have 30 turns, and you're gonna mess it up now, game? Come on. There's no other militiamen coming, it seems like. So I have 5 turns to finish this guy off, I think, if I want to get that crown. Well, screw you, game. That's great. Yeah, well, I'm not getting it now. Groin attack. Nope. Even though the chance is so high, it's sometimes I just can't grasp it. Like, this is not 50%, you know? It's supposed to be... Okay, this time? Ah, almost. You'll see, I get him at 31, and the chance is probably 30. So, yep. Oh, wow. I actually did get it. I was so convinced I would not have made it at 31. Alright, well, never mind. The city is yours to take. Alright, really? According to my calculations, it should not actually be like that. Because the way it used to work with the previous... the way it used to work with the previous one is that you had a base amount of turns in order to get it. Which was like 50 turns or something, or 40. And then, depending on what would happen, so whether the ladders are correct, and whether you trip over or not in that engagement, you have a certain amount of turns. So say that the base amount of turns that you have to win that battle is 40, then having better walls increases, or better ladders increases that number by 10. But failing the speed check that I got for going as fast as you can decreases it by 20. So my estimate was that I would have 30 turns in total in order to win that battle, because you have 40 plus 10, so 50 for having the good ladders, and then minus 20 for actually tripping over there and taking damage. So I was convinced it was 30 to pass here, but maybe the calculations are different. It could be like that. So that's why I was really disappointed when I was doing so well. And then right at the end, they make me get to 31. I was like, yeah, well, great. You know, I was so close, and then they made me get over 30. But maybe the calculations are different. Either way, not long afterwards, you're walking along the streets of Pelion. Your orders are the same as usual in this kind of situation. Kill anything you meet, be it people or animals. On your right, there's a beautiful small temple to the goddess Ceres, whom the locals call Demeter. Virtue Pass, you see a lone man in the street. For a moment he sees you. He's frozen with terror. He's unarmed and looks too old and scrawny to fight anyway. Hardly a threat. A couple of legionaries promptly move towards him, swords at the ready. You're in command of this group. You know, I know that stop them gives you more virtue. So let's just do that. The soldiers look at you in confusion, but you repeat your command, and they fall back in line. Your virtue has increased by 7. Pass a charisma check. The men trust you. Nobody questions your order. You gesture the old man to go into the temple and stay there. As he complies, you receive relief from someone among the ranks. Opinion troop has increased by 1. After a while, the sound of trumpets announces that Pelion has been secured. The slaughter is over, and the pillage begins. When the situation has settled down, the rewards for the fight at the wall are assigned. You are awarded a mural crown, along with a magnificent prize. Wait, that's the second one. And that also gives you the achievement Human Siege Engine for getting 2 mural crowns in one playthrough. You're rewarded that for being the first man over the wall of besieged city. We're still not actually in the main game. We're just doing this. Philip had to deal with an invasion by the Dardanians from the north. The attackers are retreating now, hard-pressed by a Macedonian army. After garrisoning the freshly conquered city of Pelion, Galba turns westwards to your original starting point before winter comes. The rich loot of your raid in Upper Macedonia and the Saretia is shared among the troops. That's a lot of gold. Part of it has been set aside, and what is going to be up for grabs in a series of games to be held. You can expect the cream of the crop of the army to compete. Each winner will receive 1,000 denarii. There are also 250 denarii for runners-up and for third finishers. We can either join the 3-lap foot race, join the javelin contest, or based on precision, and also join the javelin contest based on distance. Or we could join none of them. The competition is going to be too fierce. You would only make a fool of yourself. I should have taken off my my greaves. Had I known that, then I would have definitely... let's join the 3-lap foot race. Because we still have pretty high speed, I think. And with the javelin, yeah, we're close to 70, but my speed is higher, so maybe we'll pass those checks. Most of the best runners in the army participate in the race, including Spurius Equitius. Avelis, well known for his superb athletic prowess. You start the first of 3 laps along the track. Let's keep a steady pace, and we fail. You're way too slow. You're losing ground. You're currently among the last. Let's sprint. You decide to spend your best energies in this lap. We pass. An impressive lap. You're gaining ground on everyone. No one but Equitius can keep this pace. You're in the lead group. You're showing the strain after sprinting. The next lap will be harder. Oh, we can't sprint anymore, huh? Let's keep a steady pace. A very good lap. You're in the lead group. When the finish line is in sight, Equitius sprints faster than anyone can hope to match. You could still finish second. Fail. A third place. You receive your prize from the hands of the consul. You've gained all that stuff. Ah, well. You know, we tried. We tried. Yeah, I did not think it would work out super well. But during the first time you do this, you actually get to sprint more than once. So, or at least I thought it was like that. So that's why I sprinted in the second round instead of in the third lap. Because you probably have to go steady pace, sprint in order to succeed there. But, you know, I might be wrong. Well, we'll see. You know, there are still consecutive playthroughs. So there's no need to worry about that stuff just for now. So... unfortunately, didn't get it this time. Oh well. Let's do some extra workouts. I feel that, we're not good enough yet. The new consul, Publius Villius Tapulus, brings reinforcements from Italia and takes charge. Galba's term of office is over. Okay. Let's at the very least see what my stats are and try to adjust accordingly. So strength and coordination are currently the lowest, and of course the javelin practice as well. About 2,000 veterans from the African campaign are mutinying. Well, for one thing, they claim that they have never volunteered for this war, but were forced to embark by the tribunes of the former consul. For another, they have served for long enough, and they have the right to go back to their families. Look, I actually cannot support this. I'm sure they're actual volunteers, and they got their loot, and now they decided that it's no longer their business to stay there. I'm unsupportive. I'm sorry. Your lack of empathy for the brothers in arms who have shared the hardships of Africa with you causes some animosity. So only the consul likes this. Well, too bad. The situation is resolved when the new consul, Tapulus, agrees to write to the Senate about the veterans' requests, providing the mutiny is called off immediately. Okay, well, I guess I should have agreed with them. No, I don't think it's actually fair to take your loot and then call it off suddenly, but... okay, well, fine. If the game thinks that it's honorable to do that. I mean, I'm not just going to pick their side just because I fought with them before. Let's just see if there's some stuff in the market. Usually there's not. There's a short chainmail of about 1,000, but that's not gonna cut it anymore. One of the tribunes, blah blah blah. And the reason why I did it as well is that I already have such a high opinion with all the other classes that I'm probably fine even if I lose a little. With the arrival of spring and news of Philip's presence in nearby Epirus, Topulus is eager to leave winter quarters and move towards the enemy. You're encamped after a long day's march when something completely unexpected happens. The new consul is here, ready to take command and send Topulus back to Rome. He must have left Italia much sooner than customary and hurried by forced marches since then. He's very young for a consul, about your age, but Titius Quintius Flaminius looks like a very driven man. A few days later, his reinforcements join you. Flaminius has brought over 3,000 men, many of them veterans who served in Hispania or Africa. Okay. The consul holds you in such high esteem that he offers to let you train with an old gladiator master who is part of his retinue. Which aspect of your combat skills do you want to own? Well, the javelin, actually. You learn a few tricks of the trade and techniques. Your throws get faster and more deadly than ever before. Your javelin skills increase by 3. That's very nice. How can we compare this here chainmail? So this one also covers the arm and more of the leg. Less armor protection and less anti-armor resistance though. Poorer material quality. Well, no thanks. It's a pretty expensive helmet though. Let's compare that. So it's more cover, but a much higher penalty in awareness. 5 less actually. So yeah, let's just leave that. That's fine. Alright, there's just not that much stuff. There doesn't seem to be anything that we can really change here. So let's at the very least offer sacrifice. And I kind of feel like there is something I need to do still. Yeah, because my awareness will drop again, and maybe it's high enough as it is, but apparently I'm still not passing all of these checks. Like I'm even now I failed a charisma check at 77. So I don't I don't really know what's going on there, you know. But at least we got that javelin up a bit. So let's do a bit more training. Oh well. Let's move on. You overhear 2 tribunes discussing their present situation. The youngest of the pair insists that it would be better to take the long route through Dasaratia, bypass the enemy entirely and invade Macedonia from there. His colleague replies that such a move would leave Philip's army between you and your bases on the coast. Not the brightest maneuver he has ever seen. It would also solve nothing. If you want to obtain a decisive advantage, you have to face the Macedonians now. The consul, Flaminius, must have thought the same, because you are marched to the river Aus, where the enemy is waiting for you. You make camp and prepare for the inevitable. So many years of campaigning under your belt, and you are still not completely used to this. Regardless, you don't let any of your nervousness show on the outside. Right, I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.